Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to Jonathan Tanner and Mildly Nuclear. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started.
Even the gods will disappear sooner or later. What about us? Oblivion even makes gods equal to mortals.
Sarenrae does not fear non-existence, nor am I afraid of death, inevitable as it is. Mortals imitate the gods in many ways. That's the point of faith.
And welcome back to Episode 9. Now, last time we started exploring the Old Sycamore in search of that scoundrel Tartuccio, and we ended up stumbling right into the middle of a civil war between two feuding tribes. Like I said last time, this is the largest dungeon in Act 1, so it's going to take us a few more episodes to finish clearing it, but we knocked out a decent chunk of the surface level last time. What I'd like to do this time is finish clearing the surface level and hopefully set us up to delve into the tunnels for episode 10. That way I can adjust the brightness and gamma levels between episodes. As we found out during the beta, things get pretty dark once you're on the lower levels. Anyway, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, so let's stay focused on the surface level for now. First things first, let's check out that loot marker that popped up on our map. Ah, yes. Skeletal remains. Well, that got us some minor valuables, but nothing significant.
I see something.
Oh, difficulty 23 athletics check. That's actually pretty steep. Okay, let's ditch the breastplate for a moment and we'll have Lindsay fire up Inspire Competence. It's not much, but that'll at least give us even odds of getting through. Here goes nothing. We flipped a coin and it came up tails.
Share your troubles.
At least the damage is fairly minor. There we go. Good as new.
Just letting the ink dry.
Now, let's get Amiri's breastplate re-equipped and see if this was actually worth it. Hide it. Queen Badan never find. Treasure heavy. Protect treasure.
Can you make an epic pose? I need inspiration.
Well, so much for diplomacy. I guess this does qualify as self-defense, though. Alright, let's do this. I'm not really expecting much of a fight here, but let's speed things up with a quick grenade. Took a little longer than I expected, but that was still a pretty one-sided fight. Poor guys. Well, let's see what they were willing to die for. Actually, that chest is probably locked, so let's hedge our bets here.
This is not possible.
Come on. Missed it by 2. Well, Lindsay's better at cracking locks anyway.
It's just not my lucky day.
Really? She missed it by 1. Man, we are not off to a good start here. I've got to tell you, it's pretty tempting to just reload and try that again, but I'm trying to avoid save scumming unless it's absolutely necessary. It's a slippery slope, you know? Besides, we can come back for the chest when we hit level 4.
As it should be.
Hey, it's some antlered death ponies. Very majestic. And another corpse. That's less majestic.
I can't.
And the streak of failed skill checks continues. Died of unknown causes. Well, I guess it's a bit of a moot point, really. All these corpses are an obvious sign that we should keep our guard up.
A trivial matter.
Strange. There are enough supplies to encamp once. Can't help but notice it just auto-saved my game. You know, it's a bit meta, but I'm gonna take that as a pretty big clue that we shouldn't spend the night here. Besides, we're pretty well rested right now anyway. We'll move on for now, but we'll earmark that for future investigation. And another senseless battle. Don't mind me, guys. Just carry on. Pretend we're not even here. Ah, but this is a fight we can actually take part in.
To victory!
Oh, that is a lot of thylacines, but we should be fine. These things should go down pretty easy, so we don't really need any fancy tactics here.
This should do it.
Some minor hits on Harem, nothing to worry about. Alright, let's toss out a quick heal and loot the corpses.
Confide in me.
You have got to be kidding me. You know what? That's fine. Thylacine pelts are almost worthless anyway. Seriously though, these die rolls are something else.
Would you look at that?
Wand of ear-piercing scream and 4 alchemist's fires. Not bad.
In due time.
Oh, a giant centipede. And our combat log just got flooded with initiative checks. Let's back off real quick before we engage.
Tear them apart!
Ah, there we go.
Ray, be generous to them, for I am not.
Any more? Nope, I guess that's it.
All according to plan.
Alright, let's proceed with caution. There could be more enemies hiding nearby. In fact, let's go ahead and fire up Inspire Competence again. That'll give us a small bonus on our perception checks. Alright, we've got about 18 seconds before this wears off, so
Follow my lead.
we'll have to move relatively quickly.
What's that?
Oh, not what I was looking for, but that's fine.
Anything else?
You see that?
Yeah, if we had rushed forward, not only would we have ended up surrounded, but we also would have blundered right into these traps. It's also nice to see that we're actually succeeding at some skill checks where it matters. Hey guys, don't suppose you're going to attack me? Queen Bada say let you in. You go, Queen? Joy, see her. Alright, good to see our diplomacy still paying off. Oh, nice. That is an amulet of natural armor. We'll immediately give that to Amiri. That bumps her AC up to a respectable 19. It won't really help against tougher enemies, but it certainly can't hurt. The roots, previously blocking the way, were pulled apart by magic or some mechanism. Alright, that's obviously the entrance to the Might's lair. We'll hold off on that. Like I said, I'd like to change some of our settings before we actually go down there.
In due time.
There's another mobility check. Looks like it's just another shortcut.
I failed.
Who will prevail? Does it matter?
Failed the skill check, but we didn't actually take any damage.
Serves you right.
I mean, we did get ambushed by wolves, but I don't think that's related. Hey, look at that. Actually got some pelts for once. Okay, let's double back here. Fill in the gap.
My search was not in vain.
Applause, please.
I'll probably go back between episodes and jump through all of those shortcuts, just to get us a little closer to level 4. I could do it now, but I don't want you to have to watch that kind of shameless grinding.
I don't
Whoa,
like
hold up.
surprises.
I guess we missed this one on our way in.
Applause, please.
Thank you, Lindsay. Oof, still got a ways to go before level 4, though. Ah, the casualties of a senseless war. Let's see what we can salvage here. Interesting. There's actually some stuff here we can use. Alright, moving on. Aha. I'm no botanist, but I'm guessing those are celestial radishes.
That is not far.
An awful lot of kobolds lying around. Let's try chatting with them before we do anything else. A kobold lying in the middle of the patch calls out to you. Judging by the sorry state of his scales, he is the eldest of the group. His red eyes squint from the light, and his throat struggles to form words.
Our patch. Our celestial radish.
Yick, radishes. We grew them back in my village. One day, while I was reading a book, my pa grabbed it from me and threw it into fire. Then he made me go pick radishes. It was autumn, and the ground was wet and cold, and there were worms everywhere. Ugh, filthy roots. Thank you, Lindsay. That was both sad and unhelpful. I guess it makes sense, though. I haven't really been stacking your bardic knowledge. Anyway, we need to get our hands on some of those radishes, but we probably shouldn't risk trying to steal them. Not yet, anyway. What are you doing here?
Chew the radish. Search for secret truth. Small and big.
The kobolds who are lying nearby answer with a devout murmur. At least, those who aren't sleeping. Huh. Little philosophers, aren't they? Wouldn't expect that. Wouldn't expect. Why don't you join the war against the mites?
Might silly, but suit scale also. There are more important things in life.
The kobold punctuates his words with a burp, and the others hiss in approval. About that radish. The oldest kobold lifts his head from the ground and tries to focus his eyes on you. Let's stick with the diplomatic approach here. There are enough radishes for everyone. You mustn't forbid others from using what grows freely in the forest. I will dig out as much as I need. The old kobold remains silent for a time, wrinkling his forehead. Finally, lifting a finger solemnly, he announces,
You chew and let chew.
Pleased with his verdict, he turns over on his side. Other kobolds break out in delighted hissing. Well, that, I guess that worked out. I don't suppose I could, take some extras. No, I guess not. Fair enough.
As it should be.
Alright, moving on. There's another mobility check. Just another shortcut, I'm sure. Again, I'll revisit that between episodes. Whoa. Lonely Shambling Mound. It's outlined in yellow, which means we can attack it, but it's not actually hostile.
All according to plan.
Not yet, anyway. Let's just, we'll ignore it for the moment. The body of a woman, foul beyond recognition. Her fingers still clench a torn leather leash. Strange. Let's see if we can find some clues here. +1 chain shirt, a couple of potions, and a lab journal. Went into the woods, found many roots, pine cones, flowers, and a dead squirrel. Scant little I can make of that. I must consider where I might gain rarer ingredients for my experiments. Some damnable raccoons got into the hut while I was exploring the woods, broke all the glassware. The only things left are 10 flat-bottom glass tubes, 5 round-bottom flasks, a couple porcelain mortars, 3 pestles, and the precious spiral. A good thing all the pots are still there. So many good chemicals wasted. Shame. Need to lock everything up in the closet. Tried to finish the experiment today, the one I started at the old lab. Used the lead powder from the master's box. At the crystallization stage, the liquid foamed, changed color, and formed a deposit. Another unsuccessful experiment, and I've all but exhausted my supply of essential materials. Caught a raccoon with a snare trap. Didn't get the bastard to the hut in time. Perhaps I should ask some hunters for help in catching experimental subjects? But I must save money, and besides, I see how those bumpkins scowl at me, as if I've grown horns. Third attempt at the crystallization experiment broke the last round bottom flask. I recall my tutor calling me ham-handed and making me clean up. Perhaps he was right, but he did teach me much, despite everything. But why didn't he wish me to develop my abilities? Didn't he want me to learn anything beyond the basic potion recipes? Kept saying I wasn't ready, but in truth, he feared the student surpassing the teacher, and for good reason. I shall prove this process works. I'll prove it to everyone. Today an old lady came from the nearby village, asking me to make her goats yield more milk. I had to help. I'm in desperate need of money. Oh, why must I spend my time so? Boring, boring, boring! Several pages remain empty. Then the writings continue. Observation, Day 1. I finally got a chance I can't miss. I found a dying elf in the woods. She was barely breathing, and ants were swarming all over her. Who is she? What happened to her? It matters not. This is the opportunity I've been waiting for. With great effort, I managed to drag her to the hut, remove her clothes, and hide her behind the bags in the corner. Enough wasting my talents on trifles. It's time for action. Use the largest glass tube from the master's box, the one with the warning. In case of contact with skin, wash off immediately. Ha! The doddering parrot of all the standard warnings. I spread it evenly over her body and began my observations. Observation, Day 3. The subject has survived. Had to tie her up and gag her. The moaning could attract unwanted attention. Her skin is changing, but it's hard to determine the precise character of these changes. The early stages of festering, perhaps. The treated areas do smell faintly. Observation, Day 5. The changes continue, faster and faster. The epidermis has festered away, the joints are grown swollen, tough, and calloused, and the subject has a fever. Observation, Day 9. Over the past few days, the subject's legs became covered with mildew and moss. Her fingers and toes grow long and crooked, as though she would grow into the ground? I shall move the subject outside. The experiment now demands sunlight. Observation, Day 13. The body's changes are so significant it's impossible to recall the creature's original appearance from the way it looks now. A seething growth covers the whole body's surface. Every day I find new kinds of moss, mildew, grass, and other plants. The subject attempts to move. Had to immobilize her. I try to make contact, but she utters inarticulate sounds, alike to howling. Might intelligence be restored at a further stage of regeneration? Observation, Day 18. The subject has grown larger, several times. She is now strangely quiet these last few days. I'm beginning to worry. In the end, I see I've become attached to her. She will make me famous. Observation, Day 25. My living experiment shows all signs of obedience. She is much like a little tree, a magnificent walking tree. She is already 8 feet tall, and the child keeps growing. I wish to give her space, more fresh air and sunlight. I suspect we shall need some fertilizer. For now, I only walk her around the woods on a leash. This is the greatest achievement of my career. Soon we'll be ready for a journey to Absalom, and there I will present my masterpiece. I must think of a name for my girl. Well, that answers a few questions. And it goes to show that the alchemist almost certainly deserved her fate.
In due time.
Oh, hold on.
My search was not in vain.
Follow my lead.
Now, I talked about this back in the beta, but near as I can tell, the elf that the alchemist found was already infected with a parasitic vine from a shambling mound. She assumed that the transformation was the result of her experiments, but in actuality, all she really accomplished was preventing the elf from getting proper help. The alchemist also made the obvious mistake of assuming the shambling mound was obedient when, really, it was just complacent. It had no reason to attack the alchemist as long as it had the elf to feed on, but once that was gone, the alchemist had clearly outlived her usefulness. In the end, both the elf and the alchemist died, and the Shambling Mound is just another monster roaming the stolen lands. That, of course, is where we come in. Now, I'm not actually sure we can handle this thing. We're only level 3, and I'm pretty sure that thing's a challenge rating 5 or 6, something in that area. We'll set up a quick save just in case, and then we'll do our best to take this thing down. But if worse comes to worse, then we'll jump over to an alternate timeline.
Focus on the goal.
One where Silverleaf was smart enough to leave this thing alone.
Adventures call to them.
Right here, my friend.
I wrote it like I saw it.
Here I am. See.
I know what to do. Time's not waiting.
Alright, I think that's everything we can do. Let's conjure up a death pony and see how this goes.
You deserved it.
Good luck, heroes. Let's just hope that thing's vulnerable to fire.
Something bothering you?
And then our leader charged forwards. Hey, wait for me.
Oh, geez. Hold on. That's the exact opposite of being vulnerable to fire. Alright, let's try acid instead.
I can't keep this up much longer.
Harem's down. Valerie's almost down. Let's keep hitting this thing. Jeez. We could throw up some healing, but I really don't think it would make a difference at this point.
This won't kill me.
There's a little damage, but nowhere near what we need. Well, let's see if this thing's got bones to break. Amiri's dead, Valerie's dead. I think it's pretty much over at this point. But hey, you never know until you try.
This was not part of the plan.
Miserable
I see your
last
light.
chapter.
And thus, Silverleaf's adventure comes to a tragic end. At least until we wind back the clock, that is. Alright, let's not bother the enormous Shambling Mound this time. We'll just add it to our growing list of loose ends, right next to the mysterious campsite and that chest we couldn't open. Of course, that's also a good example of how Kingmaker doesn't scale to your level. Just like the autosave at the mysterious camp, you'll usually get a warning when you're in over your head. Oh my, a Megalosaurus.
What's that?
We could try taking this thing down, but I think we've learned our lesson about attacking neutral mobs. Besides, we should be getting pretty close to the scary wolf boss that the hunters told us about. Nice. There we go. Grarrukh. Looks like we can talk to him too. That guy's almost certainly a warg, which means he's inherently evil, so we should probably set up a few buffs before we go over there. We'll go all out here. No sense in having 2 cosmic resets in a single episode.
Here.
Yes, I'm still here.
Done with waiting.
Time's not waiting.
Cecil waits us.
Okay, approach with caution. Actually, they're not hostile yet, so let's conjure up a death pony, just in case. The beast before you is unusually large, and its eyes especially angry. Its menacing grin might almost be taken for a smirk. Greetings, traveler. Before you draw your weapon, I wish to say I see no reason for feuding between us. We might even be of some use to each other. Wait, why is this wolf talking? Is it magical or something? I am no wolf, female. I am a warg. Surprising you could live to your age without learning the difference. Well, it's never too late to teach a lesson to an insolent 2-legged morsel. The beast slowly licks its teeth. Who are you calling a morsel, you pelt? Amiri glares at the beast, her hand on her sword. Thank you, Amiri. You say we could be useful to each other. Bring me someone delicious. 3 or 4 bodies will be enough. And I, as a sign of gratitude, will tell you where an old traveler buried his chest. Well, that sounds, An old traveler, you say? A very old, lean, and flavorless traveler. The warg grins, almost smiling. Yeah, a hard pass on the blatant evil. If you're hungry, then hunt. I see no point in interfering with the natural order of things. Well, as you wish, but consider my offer. You may yet think of something. Who are you? You may call me Grarrukh. I've lived here far longer than the rulers of those foolish tribes. I have seen much and eaten many. What do you know of the war between the kobolds and mites? Only that my pack enjoys it. The warg snorts and licks his lips. Of course, I only eat fresh meat. Okay, I think we've heard enough here. I'm all for diplomacy, but this thing clearly needs to die. Your words will not save you, monster. This creature is filled with irredeemable evil. Sarenrae, guide my blade. We cannot leave such dangerous animals to live in our future lands. Slay the beast. Good. I love fresh meat. Alright, here we go. We're only up against 3 at the moment, but as we saw earlier, there could be more hiding nearby.
Repent!
Let's queue up some spells and we'll have to stay on our guard here. Right, there's one on Harem already. We'll just have to keep an eye on our back line. There's another one on Amiri. Nothing to worry about just yet. Let's try to focus fire on Grarrukh. So far so good. Grarrukh seems to be having some pathfinding issues. And down he goes. Let's wrap this up. Well, that actually went pretty smoothly. Nice to see we can still handle a level-appropriate encounter. Hold on. Not sure if Lindsay has switched her music or not. Let's give it a few seconds. Alright, let's crack that chest, collect our pelts, and get our reward from those peaceful hunters. Then I think we've come to a good stopping point. Nice. We may have missed those thylacine pelts, but we got the ones that count.
Just letting the ink dry.
We also got an Amulet of Mighty Fists. Not the most useful thing for our party, but still, always nice to have options.
All according to plan.
Anyway, I think that's everything on the surface level, so let's pop back over to the hunters and then we'll hit the pause button. I've dealt with the wolf leader. Hooray! Great new! Might and kobold keep live together, no threat. Good for you. Maybe you grow up big hunter like us. Saying this, he gives you a small purse. Well, I was expecting some experience points, but that's fine. That's actually a pretty decent amount of gold. Besides, we got experience for killing Grarrukh. While we didn't accomplish everything I set out to do, we did collect some celestial radishes and killed the scary wolf boss. We've also pretty much completed our exploration of the surface level, so I think we're pretty much ready to go delving into the tunnels. We'll come back for the mysterious camp and the Shambling Mound once we've gained a level or two. For now, we'll pause things here so I can do some inventory management and adjust our brightness settings, and we'll pick up here next time with our first real dungeon crawl. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Pathfinder Kingmaker, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official YouTube channel, the official Discord channel, the fan-run wiki, or the original crowdfunding campaign over on Kickstarter. As always, links are in the description.